I'm here with the Trek Speed Concept time trial bike belonging to Richie Porte of the Trek Segafredo team. He's new to the squad for 2019, so let's have a look at this beast of a bike which the Tasmanian Devil is hoping to pilot to victory this season. Let's begin with the frame. It's built using Trek's patented OCLV carbon process and has camtail tube shapes to aid airflow around them when racing against the clock. Integration is a key player within this bike, and pieces of that jigsaw puzzle include the direct mount stem as well as direct mount brakes that are tucked away. The rear on the underside of the chainstays near the bottom bracket, and the front within the actual fork blades. Speaking of the fork, it has a ratio of 6:1, which is good news for aero lovers, as previously bikes were allowed to have a maximum of 3:1 width to depth ratio. Also helping with the aero gains is the handlebar setup. Gone are the days of unsightly and unaero exposed cables, thanks partly due to the internal routing and also because of electronic gearing. Sticking with that electronic gearing, Porte has a pair of SRAM Blips gear shifters mounted to the innermost side of the base bar down near the brake levers, meaning he can shift through the gears when leaving a start ramp or when climbing. Now they're covered up nicely under some handlebar tape, and there are also some Etap clicks in the end of the aero extensions too, which also have some bar tape on them. Porte is one of the few riders who uses this instead of the very commonplace skateboard grip tape. Now both sets of gear buttons are wired up to the SRAM Etap blip box that transmits the shifting signal to the derailleurs. Right now it's pretty visible there on the back of the stem, and if it could be fitted within somewhere else on the bike it would, because well, the mechanics at the team are truly world class. I've spent quite a bit of time with them. Let's move on to the gearing then. Well, the team have saved some weight by getting rid of the front derailleur and opting to use a 50-tooth single aero chainring up front on the SRAM Red AXS cranks that also have a Quarq D0 Powermeter within them. Porte, he's using 170mm long crank arms, and they're finished off with a pair of Shimano Dura-Ace 9100 SPDSL pedals. Some of you may well be wondering why they aren't using a chain catcher on the front derailleur mount if they're using a single ring. Well, that aero chainring is a narrow wide model, but the supposed magic in the system comes from the rear derailleur. So it's the new SRAM AXS model, and it has a system inside of it called Orbit Technology. And apparently it limits chain bounce by controlling the downward movement when you hit a bump. So in short, it aims to stop the lowest pulley wheel from moving forward and giving you that slack chain. Now that plays hand in hand with the flat top chain, designed in this way as the 12-speed drivetrain requires a narrower chain, and the added material in the design of the flat top apparently means extra strength. And get this, according to SRAM, lasts 36% longer than the 11-speed chain. I just mentioned the 12-speed drivetrain, so let's talk about that cassette. It has a 10:26 ratio on this bike and fits onto the wheel using an XDR style free hub rather than one with the traditional splines. The cassette also comes with a 28 or 33 lowest sprocket too, so depending on course conditions these can easily be swapped over. Sticking with the wheels, the rear wheel is branded up with the team's name and logo, but underneath all of that it's a Zipp disc wheel. And the front wheel, well, that's a Pro Trispoke covered up with black tape. But why the cover up? Well, Bontrager, who are the team's wheel sponsor and part of the Trek group, don't make a disc wheel or tri-spoke, so that's why. Now the wheels are fitted with Vittoria Corsa Speed tubular tyres with, well, what I think is a beautiful skin wall, and they come in a width of 25mm. The team have also wrapped some electrical tape around the front valve to stop it from knocking or rattling when riding along, and despite my best efforts I couldn't budge it. And finally, on the left hand side of the rear disc wheel, the team have glued a magnet on for the speed sensor. The measurements that the 1 metre 72 centimetre or 5 foot 7 inch Tasmanian Devil has are as follows. The top of the saddle to the centre of the bottom bracket, 69.5 centimetres. The reach from tip of the saddle to centre of base bar is 46 centimetres. And the drop from the saddle to the top of the tri-bar pads is 11.5 centimetres. What about that free hub? Let's have a listen. And the weight of the bike comes in at 7.7 kilos. Finishing touches include a Bontrager high-low XXX saddle with carbon fibre rails and shell, as well as a cut-out groove in the centre to relieve pressure, and a grippy style texture on the nose of the saddle too. Now, mounted centrally between the handlebar extensions, there's a Bontrager mount for the computer, so Porte can easily monitor his power, his heart rate and speed. Now, I hope you enjoyed this look at the bike of Richie Porte. Let me know what you think of it down there in the comments below. And also give it a big thumbs up and share it with your mates. Don't forget to check out the GCN shop at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. And now for 2 more great videos, how about clicking those on the screen right now?